Hello, friends, and welcome to another video lesson from DBOS Talk. If you haven't subscribed yet, please click subscribe and click the bell so that you can be notified of new uploads. This video is in the playlist called Linux Tutorial, and here we'll be learning about the Linux top command and it's TOP with a lowercase TOP. So it is one of the most frequently used commands by used by system administrators, and it's good to know. Even if you're not a sysadmin, it's good to know this command because it's a very handy one, which is a multifunctional kind of command which helps you get some kind of a dashboard, although it's not so graphical. Okay, so the Linux top command is it helps you to see things like CPU usage, um, memory usage, running processes, system load, etc. Okay, so to get it to have it running, you just type the word top, T-O-P, enter. And the unique thing about this command is that it is a continuously running command. You don't have to keep on executing it again and again. It is continually running, not in the background. You can see it, and it helps you to monitor system performance and do some troubleshooting of what's causing some slowness in the system, etc. Okay, so if we look at the top section, it is like the summary section of the output of the top command. Okay, so it is the overall system health, if you can call it that. And if we focus on here, so I issue the top command. You see here beside the word top, you see 22, the colon 50, colon 32. That's the system time. That's my local time over here. But in reality, when you are at the corporate environment, computing environment, then this isn't just some local time. This is the system time. And imagine the terminal you're looking at is logged on to the Linux system. As you know, in a real Linux environment, in the corporate world, in an IT setting, you're not the only one logged into the system. Usually, there are multiple users logged into the system to the same machine. Are logged into the same machine. They're having their own individual sessions. Okay, so that is the system time, 22. That's 10:51 p.m. And the word up behind, I mean, beside that is refers to the uptime, the Linux system uptime, meaning the duration, the amount of time that the Linux system has been up. Okay, from boot up to now, that's 35 minutes. And then we have one user logged in, that's me. And then the load average, which is averages observed over a period of 1 minute, 5 minutes, 15 minutes. We can go into those details in some other video. But meanwhile, because there's a lot of things to be covered in here, just know that this is a very important go-to tool for doing system health check in the Linux system. Okay, if we go to the second row of things, we have tasks, which you can think of as processes. And it says there are 30 total tasks. And there's a breakdown beside that or after that, one running, 29 sleeping, 0 stopped, and 0 zombie. So you can dig up and find out more what a zombie process is, but a zombie process is a process that was running previously, and then it may not have been gracefully stopped. It did not make a graceful exit, if I will just simplify how it's being defined. And so it is somewhere lingering, although it's not running anymore. And there's possibility that that process may or may not be using some, let's say, resources, but may not be. But anyway, it probably was not properly terminated, or it did not make a graceful exit, so to speak. Okay, next row is the person's CPU or CPUs, because there may be multiple CPU number of cores, in the machine itself. So there are a couple of things beside that. 0.0, that's the usage, I mean the percentage of the CPU usage. And then you have US, that's not the USA, but that's user. So US means user processes, CPU percentage, CPU usage for, okay, again, percentage of CPU usage for user processes, the US. The SY is for system or kernel work. Okay, kernel are the internal workings of the OS. The other things here, ID is idle, okay, idle CPU. Okay, so the others, you will hardly encounter them, but I'm just pointing out and highlighting the most frequently used and the more high value or high visibility topics in or outputs or statistics in the output of the top command. If I go further down, we have the memory usage information over here. Okay, so here we have the total, and then here we have the free or available memory. Again, when we say memory, we mean random access memory. Okay, RAM is memory. Okay, and then here is the amount of used memory. Okay, this is the buffer cache. And next to that is swap. Okay, swap is a form of memory, but just to make it simple, the swap usage by rule of thumb or just by simple common sense or actually by experience, we know that heavy swap usage would mean or can mean insufficient RAM. Okay, insufficient of this, or it could be a slow system. So again, a heavy usage of the swap is not good. It means uh, there is an insufficiency in RAM memory. Okay, and then here are your processes, which are in different kinds of statuses or statuses, if you may say. So PID, of course, if you have seen my previous video about PS command, which is process status, PID is the process ID. The ID which uniquely identifies a running process. It may or may not be running, and this is the user that run that process. In this case, this is root. Here it's systemd, etc. syslog. So these are not real people. When I say user, when we say user in the IT world, especially let's just narrow it down to Linux. When we say user here, it's not a physical, it's not a person. It is a functional user ID. It may be used by one or more people. Okay, so that's a functional username over there. That is the top command. It has quite a mouthful of information that you can dig into and look into, and it's very helpful primarily for a system administrator, but also for anybody using the Linux system. Okay, so only two commands you have to know because you will just look at the statistics and try to understand and digest it. But to get the top, I mean, to get this output, you'll just type the top and then enter. And then to exit this, you just type the letter Q in your keyboard and then it quits the session. I mean, it quits the top top results. Again, take note, like I said earlier, that the uniqueness of the top command is that it continuously refreshes itself and gives you a more updated output of the top command itself. And we can talk about this in some other video, but the top command is already, it is a combination of the output of multiple Linux commands. Could be roughly five or six Linux commands working together, and then this is what you get. Okay. Thanks for watching and listening. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe and click the bell, and I'll be seeing you in the next video.